I find ancient cities fascinating, and I suspect that Mojang has big plans for them in the future. There's just one big problem. The warden is overpowered. You can't fight it. 2 hits with full enchanted netherite armor and you're done. You can't hide from it. He can smell you from 16 blocks away, and even if you try and distract him with chickens, he'll still target you. And don't try and climb up because that range increases to 20 blocks. You can't run from it. Darkness overcomes you and he can blast you through the walls with a sonic blast. You can't even get hired help. Snow golems and iron golems are completely useless against him. Even the Wither can't withstand the warden. You can't drown him in lava. 6 end crystals couldn't take him out. And TNT traps don't work either. So you're faced with 2 options. Ignore the ancient city altogether, or sneak past him and hope he doesn't spawn as you try and loot the ancient city. It seems like such a waste for Mojang to generate an entire structure full of hidden secrets and incredible loot, only for the players to largely avoid the structure altogether. I've heard some big rumors about this future of the large portal-like structure that's in the center of the city, but we'll touch on that later. So the big question is, if I can't fight the warden and survive, how am I supposed to survive ancient cities? At the heart of the issue is the Skulk Shrieker. These guys shriek whenever a player causes a vibration within 8 blocks of it. You have 4 strikes and then you're out. Actually 3, because on the 4th, the warden comes. To make matters worse, it doesn't matter what Skulk Shrieker you trigger, since each warning is mapped to each player, not each Shrieker. That means that you can end up triggering multiple wardens if you're really unlucky, since spawning it doesn't reset it. You can only reset the counter if you die. Or you wait. But you're gonna have to wait a really long time because it takes 10 minutes for each warning to reset. So if you've triggered it 3 times, you have to wait 30 minutes to get back to 0. If that happens to you, I'd suggest going AFK for a while. No mobs can spawn in the ancient city, and nothing's really gonna hurt you as long as you don't move. Since mining causes noise, and you want to be as quick about it as possible, you can take out the Skulk Shriekers. Just make sure that you use a hoe, since those get rid of them the fastest. Golden and netherite hoes work best, since they take less than half a second to break it. It's obvious that Mojang wants us to rethink the way that we play Minecraft. Generally, hoes are kind of useless. They just stay at my farm. But you definitely want to bring them to the ancient city, since those get rid of all of the Skulk and the Shriekers the fastest, especially golden and netherite hoes. Alternatively, you can surround the Skulk Shriekers all the way with wool, including the top, since the Shriekers can't activate if the line between the Skulk sensor and the Shrieker is broken, but only if it's with wool. Any other block and you're going to trigger the warden. It's also important to know that the vibrations are only detected on the Skulk block. So if you have to do any sort of jumping or even drinking a potion, like a night vision potion, you're going to want to make sure that you're not on the Skulk, since that's going to trigger a vibration. The real trick to making sure that the warden never spawns is to cover his spawning block with water. When the warden is summoned, the game will check to make sure that there is no water in its spawn block. Since we don't know exactly where the warden is going to spawn, we're going to have to make sure that the entire 11 by 13 area centered on the Shrieker is covered in water. Just make sure that you don't accidentally forget about Shriekers on the side, since those can definitely trigger. Once you're certain that there's no more Shriekers within the 8 block radius, and your entire surface is covered in water, feel free to loot the chests. The warden's not going to be able to spawn, even if you make a bunch of noise. I think what fascinates me the most about the ancient cities are the hidden redstone rooms buried underneath the portal, and the portal itself. Some people have speculated that there's going to be a new dimension with an update, since this structure is way too conveniently shaped for it to be useless. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I wanted to check out the redstone rooms just to see what they contained. They even have some rooms that tell you to subscribe if you like this kind of content. There's 3 different types of entrances, and each has a different way to open up the contraption. Since I came in through the back, I was able to see the contraption from the other side. I'm really curious to see what Mojang has in store for ancient cities. The only information I could find was that the rooms are supposed to teach you all about redstone, but it seems like such a dangerous way to be introduced to repeaters and comparators. You're for sure better off just watching some YouTube tutorials. But if you made it this far in the ancient city and you still haven't managed to awaken the warden, don't forget that the Shriekers can still hear you even if you can't see them. You shouldn't worry too much if bats are causing the skulk sensors to go off because the game keeps track of whether or not the vibrations are caused by a mob or a player. However, there is one thing that above all else you should never, ever, ever do. And that is never, under any circumstance, fall into the Skulk Shrieker. If you do, I suggest you run. I thought maybe I could trap him outside, so I quickly closed the piston door, but I really should have broken the redstone signal because that would have closed it faster. If I was lucky, he wouldn't be able to smell me through the wall. I tried sneaking throughout all the hidden tunnels trying to get away from him, but I was totally, completely trapped. I could tell by his sounds that I had managed to really piss him off, and at that point, I knew I was screwed. I forgot that I had some golden apples in my inventory. Those would have helped. I hope you guys like this, and I'll see you next time.